With Palmer injured, players out of form, I think it's time to make some transfers. This is how I'm going to be lining up for FPL Game Week 3. Welcome to FPL Mate, and first of all, welcome to my Game Week 2 scores. 50 points for me, which gave me a small green arrow. I guess it's not the worst in the world. It certainly wasn't a disaster game week or anything like that for me, but I was probably mostly bailed out by the Joao Pedro 15-pointer, which maybe I got a little bit fortunate with there, but we absolutely take the luck wherever it comes because the rest of the team was not delivering the luck. Bruno with the missed penalty there. Obviously, both Murillo and Richards lost their clean sheets against each other, and oh god, Palmer, an injury, unavailable for that game week 2 fixture. He could have been on for a big score had he played, but unfortunately, it was just not to be. But there still are some positives in my team. It's just not in the Aston Villa department. Rodgers and Watkins just failing to deliver once again. Hopefully they can start to turn things around from game week 3 because I am quickly losing patience on these guys and I'm ready to make some transfers. And by the way, guys, if you haven't checked out Fantasy Football Hub and become a member yet, what are you waiting for? They're still running 50% off their subscription service at the moment. They've got all the best tools, Optastats, your algorithm AI team rating tool, which gives you suggested transfers personalized to your team, as well as members articles and team reveals from all of the best FPL managers in the game, guys. So make sure you do check it out for 50% off using the link in the description. Plus, they will give you your money back if you don't win your mini league. So it's a no-brainer. You either win your mini league or you get Fantasy Football Hub for free for the year. So yeah, really easy decision there, guys. Link in the description to claim that deal. Let's move on to my Game Week 3 team, and we're going to start off with Sanchez. Bobby Sanchez in goal, and so far, I think so good, really. Got a couple of save points so far there, and really the only goal that Chelsea have conceded so far this season was that Paqueta wonder goal in game week 2. Chelsea actually have a 39% chance of a clean sheet in this game week according to the market odds, which is actually pretty nice there, really. So I'm happy to go again with Sanchez. I think he's turning out to be a pretty solid goalkeeper pick, and I think maybe another clean sheet against Fulham could be on the cards. Let's go into defense with Pedro Porro, another player who I think has been one of the stronger players so far this season. Spurs are finally a good defense again, so it would seem. And 3 shots and 5 key passes so far this season for Pedro Porro. That's actually better than Florian Wirtz. He's a set piece taker, as we know, so hopefully we can start to see his shots, his key passes, his set pieces turn into some attacking returns against Bournemouth this week. Bournemouth also do have a slight bias for chances conceded from the right-hand side, which is going to favour the likes of Pedro Porro and indeed Kudus if you have him in your squad. Our next defender is Murillo. Forest have been a little unlucky with no clean sheets yet. 1.8 expected goals conceded so far in total this season, which is the same as Arsenal and Chelsea for reference. So really good defensive numbers, just failing to get those clean sheets over the line so far. Maybe been a bit unfortunate with, late goal conceded in game week 1. Just the 1 goal conceded to Crystal Palace in game week 2. So a little disappointing there. Also, Murillo, kind of disappointing for defensive contributions as well. Just 11 so far in 2 matches, which is far below kind of what we saw last season. So I'm hoping things can get back to normal a little bit with Murillo this week against West Ham at home. It's a great fixture. You're going to get great chances of a clean sheet here if you are on Forest defenders. I just want to see some DEFCON as well from him. And our final defender is going to be Richards. Now, this is a really tough one for me because I have Watkins and Rodgers for Aston Villa in my squad. So I'm really conflicted here. Do I want to play Richards as a defender against 2 of my Aston Villa attackers? It doesn't really make sense, does it? But according to the market odds, despite being a great defense so far, Palace, they only have a 21% chance of a clean sheet this week. Now, this might be impacted by the tired legs from their European qualifier in the midweek. That was played on Thursday evening. But also Aston Villa have failed to score a single goal so far this season. And every centre-back who has played against Aston Villa so far this season has come away with defensive contribution points, which is a really interesting fact. And my alternative is to play Juve, who plays for West Ham, against Nottingham Forest. And that really was the original plan, to play Juve against Nottingham Forest. But West Ham have been so bad, I don't know if I can bring myself to do it. So maybe this one goes down to the wire, but I think I'm going to hedge towards what Richards on this one, just to hedge my bets a little bit against the Aston Villa defence. We'll maybe come back to this and speak a little bit on Juve when we come to my bench. But first of all, let's move on to my midfield. We've got Mo Salah. Disappointing performance again in Game Week 2, but still managing to come away with FPL points. That's just what he does. Salah's individual record against Arsenal is actually quite good. He has faced Arsenal 5 times in the past 3 seasons and scored 3 times during that time, which is not too bad. This isn't typically a low-scoring game between Arsenal and Liverpool. We often see, score draws kind of thing from these games. But, I don't know, you would imagine Arsenal would probably want to put a stop to that and keep the scoreline low. And if Liverpool's goals are spread around among more players, as they seem to be this season, you would imagine that impacts, kind of reduces Salah's appeal in a week like this. But, at the same time, it's Salah. So, it can go either way, can't it? But, yeah, I think it looks unlikely that Salah will get a return against Arsenal. But at the same time, it's looked unlikely he would get a return in the first 2 games, having watched the games, and yet he's still done it. It's just what he does. We've got Palmer here still. He's predicted by a lot of people to be rested this weekend against Fulham. Maybe that changes after press conferences, but Maresca doesn't usually tell us too much, so I wouldn't be expecting definitive information there. But given that my current plan is to free hit in Game Week 6 when Palmer has his best upcoming fixture, that's going to be against Brighton, I'm actually pretty comfortable with selling him and free hitting him back in Game Week 6. And selling him is also going to be quite nice for trying to plan out a bench boost as well. Free up some budget, reinvest in some areas, make some upgrades throughout my team, and get ready for a bench boost. And then we can sort of wild card after that. So I think I'm maybe more comfortable than most to sell Palmer. I definitely understand if people want to keep him, but he didn't exactly perform in Game Week 1 either. He costs a lot of money. If he's not likely to play this weekend and I can free hit him back in Game Week 6 anyway, maybe it just makes sense to sell, try and pick up a player I'm a little more confident in. We've got Bruno Fernandes up next, and yeah, here we go. I could speak a lot on Bruno and Manchester United, but we'll try and keep things as brief as possible. Yes, of course, United drew to Grimsby and then lost on penalties in the League Cup during the week, but shocking results happen all the time in the Cups. That's why we love the Cups, especially when key players are rested and when individuals are making big mistakes, as we saw with, I don't want to name names, but players for Manchester United in that game. And I think things can go either way after something like this. Either heads are down, everyone has given up already. It seems a little bit strange this early in the season, but it's possible. The other way you can look at it from a mentality point of view is the team will be fired up to bounce back. And different people will have their different opinions on that one. I'm not going to tell you which one's right and which one's wrong because we don't know yet until we see Manchester United go up against Burnley. But what I will say is the bookmakers still have United as heavy favourites in this game. They have great goal scoring odds, great clean sheet odds, among the top, depending on what markets you look at, sometimes the best goal scoring and clean sheet odds in the entire Premier League for Game Week 3. So that's despite everything that's happened with Grimsby. And, we've got some great opportunities here to kind of bet against maybe the crowd who are going to be like, Man United drew to Grimsby. They are obviously a League 2 team. They're going to be terrible for the rest of football history, and there's no way we can bounce back. They can bounce back. And, to play against those people, I'm kind of happy to do that because the bookmakers like this one. They give Bruno, for example, a 0.38 projected goals for Game Week 3, for example, which is really good. Add in the assists, and you're probably odds on for an attacking return. You're going to get defensive contributions there as well. These people are getting paid to predict the results. Unlike, people having a laugh at Manchester United on social media. Totally get it. It is definitely funny as a non-Man United fan, but in FPL, I don't really care about what's funny. I care about what gets me the FPL points. And things do still suggest that Manchester United players can get some points this week. So, yeah, let's get serious. Bruno is still a great player to own in this fixture in isolation. A full-strength Man United team playing against a far easier team than Arsenal or Fulham. People are talking about keeping Wirtz for his game against Burnley in game week 4, but Bruno has offered more in attack, in open play attack, and in defensive contributions than Wirtz so far this season. Plus he has penalties, plus he has all the set pieces. Well, not all, but a lot of set pieces. It's a no-brainer to keep Bruno, and I think he's still a potential captain. Yeah, come at me. I'm sorry. It's funny to laugh at Man United, but at the end of the day, Bruno is not suddenly just going to, be a terrible football player. And I think a lot of the people who are saying, Bruno is just a defensive midfielder now, I think that is pretty lazy analysis. And if you actually watch the games, Bruno's still creating. He's still taking shots. If you kind of look at the stats, that proves it as well. So, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to continue on. But let's move on because we can spend way too much time on Manchester United. Maybe that's for another time. We've got Morgan Rogers. He has shown absolutely nothing of positivity this season. Something needs to change at Aston Villa. I do still trust Rogers will bounce back eventually, but I don't know when that will be. Could it be against a tired Palace team at home this weekend? I hope so, because I can't stay patient forever on this one, but there's some nice fixtures coming up. I don't have the assist odds yet, but the markets have Rodgers at 0.28 projected goals, which could be a lot worse. That's not too bad, really. So I think I'd probably have to hold on to Rodgers for now, give him one more chance, because we know he's a brilliant football player. It would just be nice if he showed it again this season. It's going to happen eventually. Hopefully this week. We've got Dewsbury Hall, much better in game week 2, actually. 3 key passes, 1 big chance created, being on corners and remaining in that attacking midfield position, despite the signing of Jack Grealish, does give him some nice assist potential, particularly against a weaker Wolves side. He also had a nice rest in the midweek cup game. I do worry about this pick as a regular starter in my FPL team over the longer term, particularly as he has yet to take a single shot, and that's a big part of where you get your points from your midfielders. So, something to consider going forwards, but I think that he's absolutely fine for game week 3, again, in isolation, particularly at this crazy 5 million price tag. It is a bargain, but I think I will be looking to upgrade this position in the near future, and part of that might come through selling the likes of Cole Palmer. Let's look at Watkins. Very poor in game week 1. Improved, though, in game week 2, I will say. 4 shots, all in the box, and accumulating a healthy 0.37 XG in that fixture. He also made 1 key pass against Brentford there as well. But again, we're relying on Palace being tired because generally they are a very good defence. We're relying on Aston Villa to play more attacking and, actually score their first goal of the season. If they do score their first goal of the season in game week 3, odds on it is going to be Watkins there. You would imagine that Aston Villa will set up to be more attacking, which hopefully can benefit Watkins and Rodgers, and maybe even benefit some Crystal Palace attackers too, if this is a slightly higher scoring game. But let's talk about the hero of game week 2. Joao Pedro saved my game week last week. Maybe a bit fortunate to get as many returns as he did, but we will take the luck where we can get it. If Palmer is out, that makes him a better pick because he will play behind the striker. And even before Palmer pulled out of game week 2, he was still starting at the same time as Delap, which I thought was quite interesting. So I think we've seen a real boost to Joao Pedro's minutes potential. And I think it's going forward, he's going to be a really nice pick. And hey, if there is no Palmer in game week 3, he could be the penalty taker as well, which would be very, very nice indeed. So I think I'm really torn between Joao Pedro and Fernandes for captain this week. It's a really tough decision because I do think Fulham are a strong defence, but Chelsea are just on fire right now, and particularly this guy. So we'll come back to captaincy in a moment. Let's look at the bench quickly first, though. Dubravka, as much as we're all down on Man United right now, I don't expect Burnley to keep a clean sheet this week. Both Dubravka and Esteve will remain on my bench. Mark Gue started in the League Cup, but probably wasn't the greatest overall performance, but he did score the goal in that game. I don't think he's quite ready for a Premier League start, so he can also stay on the bench. And we got Juve. This is the tough one. This is the tough one. So since I have that double Villa attack and no Forest attackers, do I just play Juve and hope for the best? West Ham just looks so poor right now. I'm not sure if I can do it. Then you have the attacking threat from Juve, but I have Murillo anyway, so it's not like I want Juve to score or an assist. Palace have those clean sheet odds of 21%, as we mentioned. West Ham have odds of 19%, so there's actually not too much in it, but I like Richards more as a pick generally right now, and I think I'm going to pick based on form here rather than anything else. And Richards is the guy in form, which means Juve on the bench. It means I'm hedging against my Aston Villa defenders. Maybe Richards can get DEFCON points. And if so, maybe that softens the blow if Aston Villa attackers were to do very well. I mean, it's kind of win-win, but also maybe kind of lose-lose for me. I guess we'll see. So let's talk about transfers, guys. So with the plan still in place to free hit in game week 6, I'm happy to make some transfers, really. I'm happy to sell Palmer. If I downgrade Palmer, that also frees up some money so I can upgrade my bench, ready for a potential game week 8 bench boost. That's what I'm looking at right now. It's the game week in which Burnley play at home to Leeds United, which could be a nice little opportunity to bench boost with the likes of Dubravka, maybe Esteve as players there. So yeah, thinking maybe something like that. I kind of think you could maybe go up to someone like Chris Wood. Dewsbury Hall could maybe be upgraded to, you know, maybe someone like Barnes or someone like that, maybe Semenyo. Even taking Juve to an Arsenal defender is possible in the near future, or Juve to Munoz, or maybe could work for game week, for next game week when Crystal Palace play Sunderland. But right now, this is the transfer I like the most, and this is the one I feel good about. So Ismaila Sarr. Palmer to Ismaila Sarr. We know he had the best underlying stats last season for his price tag. He already scored for the first time this season against Forest, so he's off the mark in terms of that goal-scoring form. Obviously, great performance, goal-scoring against Liverpool in the Community Shield as well. Villa will play in attack, which might make them more open to counters. They're already fairly open to counter-attacking. And they do have a weakness on their left side, which Sarr will be attacking on Crystal Palace's right side. So really nice matchup here in particular. Sarr has a proven record against Villa, 7 goals, 3 assists in 6 starts throughout his career. He's never blanked against Villa, and even after that game, we see Sarr face Sunderland and then West Ham. Then we got game week 6 against Liverpool. I can free hit Sarr out for that fixture, no problem. And then we have Everton and Bournemouth. So again, pretty nice fixtures there. So yeah, he's been a bit of a troll player in the past, but I think I'm finally ready to get hurt again. I'm ready. No, I feel good about this pick. I could maybe use my second transfer here as well. Plenty of money in the bank. We could do Mark Gue for Wood, Dewsbury Hall for Barnes, and although I think they would be great moves for game week 3. They do feel a little luxurious. I don't think I really need these players. And also, I don't think they really help my team in the longer term either. Wood has his best fixture in the week that I'm going to free hit him in anyway. And Barnes will probably be out of the Newcastle starting 11 by game week 6 or 7. So I would love to have 2 free transfers for the international break and the end of the transfer window as well, of course. So right now, I think I'm just going to go for the 1 transfer. I am tempted to hunt those short-term gains, if you like, and use that second transfer, but I don't think I need to really. It would probably mean dropping Dewsbury Hall or maybe Rodgers, but again, would I feel super happy about dropping those players? I don't think I need to, and I think there's potential for me to get punished there as well. Particularly using a transfer maybe on a player that I'll probably need to remove again. So maybe it's a kind of a 2 transfer move in many ways. So yeah, not sure. Think I'm happy with the 1 transfer, but maybe I'm open to a second one. Let's look at captains, guys. I'll start off by saying if I had Erling Haaland in my team, I would absolutely captain him, but I don't. I really don't fancy Salah in this game, particularly against Arsenal. So it's a good time to punt, I think. A good time to go for someone different. For the purpose of this video, I am going to put the captain's armband on Joao Pedro because I'm insecure and I need approval. And I don't think I can face the comments section were I to put the armband on Bruno. But look, come on, Bruno is getting the vice captain, so go ahead and roast me for that if you need to. I am genuinely really stuck between these 2 players. If Palmer is confirmed out, I'll probably stick with Joao Pedro. But if there's kind of any indication that Palmer is likely to be back and start in this game, that might push me towards Bruno Fernandes. If there's no information, maybe we stay with Joao Pedro. But look, I like both. I think they're both solid captain picks this week. They both have really good projections. The models back them. The markets back them. I like them both. But right now, it is Joao. Form over fixture. Let's see what happens. So that is what we're looking at right now, but we've got some plans going forward, guys. So we are indeed on the Fantasy Football Hub My Team tour, and we're going to check out what the AI, the algorithm thinks of my team, pretty much. And yeah, I love using this tool to try and get a second opinion. If I'm split between two players for a certain decision, like what should I do? I think my biggest headache this week is Richards versus Juve. And lo and behold, both of them are predicted 3.5 points. And I guess that's not too bad for points projections for a 4.5 million defender. But at the same time, it's like, that doesn't help with my decision one bit. They've got equal. So yeah, guys, I'm interested. You know, are you guys seeing similar things? Are you at least getting a little bit more guidance from the hub? Hopefully, because usually you do, but sometimes, you know, you get a bit of bad luck, and they both have the same predicted points. So yeah, I guess we continue on with Richards. In terms of the points projections, Salah and Bruno are ahead of Joao Pedro, but I don't think the minutes potential has quite been adjusted for Joao Pedro yet. So I think we do need to factor that in, as well as penalty share. Because like I said, I think Palmer being out does have a real nice impact on Joao Pedro. And I think we are going to see his predicted points grow and grow as kind of these models kind of adjust to the new information of how things are setting up for Chelsea and the form of the team generally as well. Rodgers is taking a bit of a dive. Salah not really fancied against Aston Villa, but look, the record speaks for itself in this particular fixture. That would leave me with 2 free transfers. And going into game week 4, I think one issue I have is again with the defence. I'm not going to play Esteve against Liverpool. I'm not going to play Murillo against Arsenal. I don't really want to play Juve against Spurs. So it might be that next week I need to make a defender transfer. So it'll either be Murillo out. So remember, against Sunderland in game week 6, I am going to be free hitting in Forest players. So I don't need Murillo for Sunderland, but maybe we want him for Burnley in game week 5. So I'm thinking one of Murillo or Juve out for either Munoz or an Arsenal defender. I haven't really decided which one it's going to be yet. Let's just say, for argument's sake, it's Munoz. And then we have Richards and Munoz and Sarr against Sunderland at home. And I think that's pretty nice, really. So it could be Munoz. We could go for maybe Gabriel, Saliba. I'm not quite sure yet. A good thing about, you know, the Arsenal defenders for me is, yes, we will have an Arsenal defender against City. But since I'm free hitting in game week 6, I skipped the Newcastle game, which means really, if we look at all of the fixtures for Arsenal coming up, it's really only Man City. It's the only rough fixture there. We'll have Forest at home. We'll have West Ham. We'll have Newcastle. We'll have Fulham. We'll have Crystal Palace there. So actually, it's a pretty nice run for Gabriel generally. And actually, from game week 4, if I go for him then and free hit in 6, I'm actually taking all of the weeks in which Gabriel has the best projected points. And the week in which he has the lowest projected points is the week I won't have him. So, yeah, that could potentially work. I'm a little on the fence there, whether I go for Gabriel or I go for Munoz. I think Munoz is a little more exciting, but Gabriel is maybe a little more sensible, long-term, a little bit more expensive as well, of course. So yeah, maybe leaning towards Munoz, but both work. And it's great that, you know, if I can carry 2 free transfers into game week 4, I've got some time to think about that. I've got some time to consider it. And, you know, I'll even have that additional transfer to maybe do something else. Can we make the Dewsbury Hall upgrade? Can we make the Mark Q upgrade? What kind of players might we be looking at to try and just improve this team a little bit more? But I think in game week 4, what I kind of look forward to, what I think I'm going to need, it's going to be one more defender to go alongside Richards and Pedro Porro, and it's going to be probably one more midfielder as well to go in ahead of Dewsbury Hall, because I'm not super confident about Dewsbury Hall. So I think saving the extra transfer, we could go Chris Wood this week. Maybe it's worth saving the transfer. I'm not sure, but planning it out. I mean, I've spent a lot of time on Hub this week trying to plan things out, look at different eventualities. So definitely always recommend this tool if you want to check it out. Get it, get the your free team rating, and then if you want the full subscription and the full planning tools and everything else, 50% off right now. You can use the link at the top of the description to go ahead and do that. But thank you so much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy, drop a like, massively appreciated. Do subscribe if you are new around here as well, and I will see you later, mates. Bye bye.